Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al
For the month of February, Black History Month, the Saturday Action Rally will be at Mother AME Zion Church, 137th Street, between Lenox and 7th Avenues from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. We're glad as we transition into our new headquarters. Our 4 Saturdays of Black History Month, we'll be doing those rallies at Mother AME Zion. Stand on historic ground, holy ground, where Frederick Douglass spoke, where Madam C.J. Walker was funeralized, where Sojourner Truth had a Underground Railroad come through. I'm so excited about being there as it prepares us to move on to our new headquarters. Let's go back and stand on the rock that our people stood on for decades.
Good morning, everybody. I hope the coffee has kicked in by now. I want to start by thanking your leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton, and everyone at the National Action Network for 35 years of standing up for civil rights and opportunity for everyone. You reminded us that change doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen, as long as we don't give away our power. I also want to recognize my friends, Martin Luther King III and Andrea Waters King, who continue to be such an important part of this movement. Finally, I want to congratulate another great friend, Eric Holder, on this well-deserved honor. Eric was obviously an outstanding Attorney General, and after the career he's had, he could have easily decided to ride off into the sunset. Sometimes I think that his wife Sharon wishes he had, but that's not who Eric is. Instead, over the last decade, he's built the National Democratic Redistricting Committee into a leading force in the fight against gerrymandering. And thanks to them, we've been able to push back some of the worst attempts to undermine our elections. It speaks to Eric's love of country, but also his recognition of how important this work is. He understands that our democracy isn't self-executing. We have to fight for it each and every day. And that's going to be especially true as we head into the midterms later this year. So, thanks to Eric and his team for doing everything they can to put our elections on a level playing field. And thanks to all of you for helping people recognize their own power and put it to good use. Take care, everybody, and God bless.
It's Wednesday, February the 11th. Do you know what time it is? It's Al Sharpton's time. And for the next 3 hours, it's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. Good morning to our West Coast listeners. Welcome to those listening on Sirius XM, Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. I'm coming to you live from our National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. And for the next 3 hours, you can call in. We're opening up the phones. You can call in at 1-877 532-5797, 1-877 532-5797. And of course, you can also go to our message board. On the board, I see Rodney Jones, the mayor of Queensbridge Houses, New York, saying good afternoon, my shepherd. And I see Joe Whitfield saying, I wish I could do more. And I'm seeing Reddy Samdi, I believe that is. I'm trying to read your name, your handle name. It says, Good Day, National Action Network Family, Black History. Whitney Houston rested today. Be safe, and thank you, Reverend. Whitney Houston, a great artist. Got to know her. I had taken issue with that. They were giving only white concert promoters her concert dates. We end up meeting and become very friendly. Went to her funeral, and but she was a great artist. Died way too young, but a gifted vocalist. Came out of the Baptist church. Her mother was a great musician, gospel artist, and had sang in professionally herself with Elvis Presley and all. Tremendous loss when Whitney died. And that is one day in Black history. A lot to talk about today, and I'm going to do a lot of phone calls. I saw some people we left on the board yesterday, so I want to get y'all in. But it is interesting. New NBC News, a decision desk poll says Trump's rating, listen to this now, this is NBC polling, that Trump's ratings on immigration tumble as America loses confidence in his top issue. I'll read it the way they write it. Trump's immigration numbers are sliding fast. The new NBC News Decision Desk poll, powered by SurveyMonkey, shows support for President Trump's immigration and border agenda has dropped sharply after federal immigration agents fatally shot 2 Americans in Minnesota. Strong disapproval on immigration jumped 49%, while Trump's overall approval now sits at 39%. So the way they have handled this whole deportation, immigration, has gone against him in the American public. The killing of both of these in Minneapolis has gone against him, and as it should. And I think that it is interesting that he can't figure out how to get around it. He says they're going to de-escalate. They're going to pull 700 people out, but they got over 2,000, almost 3,000 in there, which is more than double the local police there. So it's a real attempt to distinguish things without a difference. Then we saw, I thought, one of the most bizarre hearings I've seen in my decades of being out here. The Attorney General, Pam Bondi, faced questions from House lawmakers, and she was calling them names. You took money. Donald Trump, she certainly didn't help out anything. She accused them of politicalization. She's faced all kinds of upheaval in her department, and she was given the opportunity to turn around and apologize to the victims of Epstein. There in the hearing, one of the Congress people said, "Will you apologize to them that some of their names were not deleted and that they've been brought through this horror show?" And she talked her way around and never would even apologize. That was a very interesting development today. Then I also see that I reported yesterday to you that the only black governor, Westmore, the only black governor in the 50 states today, is Governor of Maryland. Well, now the National Governors Association that has its annual White House gathering with whoever the president is, they canceled the dinner. They're not going. The National Governors Association said that we're not going to let you just single out Democrats or single out Westmore, so we're not going to have it at all. We won't be over there. Democratic governors boycott over the exclusion. 18 Democrats announced they will skip the White House dinner, calling the move divisive and contrary to the spirit of bipartisan collaboration. And there were reports that Westmore and Colorado Governor Jared Polis would not be invited. And all the Democrats in the Senate said, all the Democrats governors say, then we won't go. We'll have our meetings, our conferences, but we won't be going to the White House. So I think that was a good blow of fresh air to see the Democrats stand up. And I think that, look, we're in for a fight, and it's going to be a long fight. He's got just about 3 years left. But some of us have been fighting a long time. You know, they're doing a new documentary on me, and they interviewed a young lady who was in my junior church when I was junior pastor, Washington Temple. And she was talking about how I always did this since I started preaching at 4, was in civil rights at 12. I've been doing this stuff over 60 years. So you talk about you can't take 3. We've been taking longer than that. But forget me. Look how long our ancestors took it. So whatever we got to do, we got to do. And they're running out of how they can spend things. You know, a lot of people saw Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, as someone that was just being too feisty and all of that. I see Joanne Kemp is on our message board saying Pam Bondi lying, snarky, entitled, and indifferent. All of that. Angela Connolly says she was real nasty until she was put on notice as she yelled at the Dems and not the other side. I think that both analyses are right. And I think it's going to come back to hurt them. Because now even some people that were in the middle of independence are looking and say, wait a minute, do we need an administration where you can't question them without them going berserk? I think they did themselves more harm than good. But they're playing to that crowd that wants to see them, stand up, smack them all. They shouldn't be here. And when you do that, your crowd will cheer, but your crowd is limited. The average American is saying, wait a minute, answer the question. How do you deal with 2 dead whites? They had the right to protest. How come all people in your U.S. attorney's offices are quitting, resigning? People that have been lifelong prosecutors say, I can't be part of this. Answer it. No, you gonna come with, oh, you did this or you did that. That don't answer. If everything she says about the Democrats is true, that still does not address her question that needs to be answered. All right, so let's get ready to take a break and get ready to line up your calls. We got a lot to talk about, from Bondi's testimony this morning to what is going on in terms of voting rights. We're still waiting on the Supreme Court, to the whole question of the Governors Association telling Trump, we won't play that game. You don't have all of us, you won't have none of us. And whatever else is on your mind, keeping it real. Shopton. We'll be right back. As we look today on King Day, let us not forget that we had to struggle to even have this day. They did not wake up one morning and say, let's give a federal holiday to Martin Luther King. People petitioned, people marched. Mrs. Coretta Scott King, who never has gotten the credit she deserves in being the force behind this movement. Congressman John Conyers, Stevie Wonder, and others. And Ronald Reagan, who had called Martin Luther King a communist, ended up being the president that had to sign the bill for Martin Luther King's federal holiday. The reason why we know struggle works is this holiday is a result of struggle, signed by a president that never thought it would be. Let us remember now, as we bring our children and grandchildren up the Potomac, that they can see the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial, and one memorial that never served as president, but changed this country more than any other American, Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. But we gather this morning because everything Dr. King stood for is at risk. As we speak, we're waiting to see what the Supreme Court will do with Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, one of the major achievements of the King movement. As we speak this morning, this sitting president has declared war on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is the core of the Civil Rights Act of '64. We are under attack, and we should not be taking this as a day off. This is a day on to fight to keep what was maintained. To see, I remember 6 years ago, Martin III and I were in Minneapolis leading the marches around George Floyd. I did the eulogy at his funeral. 6 years later, we see a white female, unarmed, killed in Minneapolis. We see people being racially profiled. We see that there are those that would want this to be the last federal holiday named after King. Don't you be deceived. This sitting president and his cohorts would want to end Martin Luther King Day. But just like we will not let them end this day, we will not let them end voting rights and Civil Rights Act and DEI. It's not enough to remember and honor the dreamer and let them kill the dream. And that's why National Action Network has every year started in Washington, D.C. with this breakfast, and then we go to New York with our public policy forum. And every year we try to set an agenda and go into April. We always have our national convention in April, which is the month Dr. King was killed, to say that they killed the dream and not the dream, and those of us that come out of that movement is going to continue to fight. This April will be our National Action Network is 35 years old in this April at our convention. One of the things, though, we've been most proud of is to try to keep the assignment that we were given. As I said, Mrs. Coretta Scott King never got the credit she was due. She's the matriarch of this movement. You must know that Dr. King was in Boston, had graduated Morehouse College, 19 years old. Went to Boston University, an Ivy League school at a time many blacks couldn't get in them. Met a young lady who was in conservatory, was going to be an opera singer from Marion, Alabama, Coretta Scott King. They decided to go back south. A lot of blacks that went north and had their upper movement never wanted to go back south. But for whatever reason, Dr. King wanted to go back south, and Mrs. King stood right with him and went to Alabama and ran into history. It is always those that accept the calling that change history, and we should never forget the sacrifice made of Dr. Martin and Mrs. Coretta Scott King, because they did not have to go and lead a boycott. They were Boston University Conservatory graduates. They chose to fight. And when it fell their lot, they kept fighting. And even after Dr. King was assassinated, she kept the movement going. Martin III bonded me and his mother, and she used to reprimand me. Al, you got to be careful with your language. Al, I know you up north, but do this, that, and other. She got on me about being not only in the tradition in your actions, because we always was there, but even in your rhetoric. And it was because of that it meant so much. For the last 30 years, Martin and I have walked step by step together because we had that bond, and I felt that Mrs. King gave us that. He has kept this dream alive all over the world. He has worked with the offsprings of Mahatma Gandhi to keep this tradition going. But I thought I knew a lot about how God operates because I've been preaching since I was a little boy. So I thought I'd never see another person in the spirit of Coretta Scott King. But Andrea Waters King walks and talks and operates in the spirit of Mrs. Because sometimes I turn around and think Mrs. King is back. She is more adamant. When Martin and I are saying, well, I don't know about this, she gets us on the Zoom and zooms us up. Say, no, y'all got to do this and this way. So I want to bring, before we start the awards, to the stage the heirs of Dr. Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King, Andrea Waters King and Martin Luther King III. It is really an intersection of both emotions, because when I was 11 or 12 years old, so I watched the news a lot, and I became enthralled with the image of Adam Clayton Powell. I was around 11, and I convinced my mother to let me come up to this church to see Adam Clayton Powell. And in those days, people in Brooklyn used to say it's dangerous to go to Harlem. And folk in Harlem used to say it's dangerous to go to Brooklyn. Now, to 135th Street, and I came, sat right back there, and Adam Clayton Powell walked down this platform. And I remember after the church, in those days, Johnson, the pastor's study was right inside with the plexiglass. And I knocked on the door and I told the secretary I wanted to meet Reverend Powell. She looked down this little 11-year-old boy. She said, really? She said, who should I say? I said, Reverend Al Sharpton.
That power means dignity. Means we're gonna walk side by side with you or through you. We're gonna be with dignity and integrity. We don't want any more than you have, and we're not going to accept any less than you have. That's my thought.
This is the first Thanksgiving I'm here in New York. Over 20 years. I'm just glad to be here with Rev today and to hand out the food. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're
Elder
back
Ford, the peace doctor in the building.
on 1-877-532-5797. A lot of callers, and I'm trying to get to everybody. I want everybody to express themselves today. The stuff that is going on in this country and the ramifications around the globe is, I think, unparalleled. I've never seen an attorney general just come in and just become a party hack for the sitting president at the expense of justice for violated women who were violated while they were teenagers. I mean, when you have gone to the point that you are not concerned about children of your own race, then we have passed a place in American psyche that is dangerous. I think that it is very dangerous. All right, let's get some calls. I read also from the board, 1-877-532-5797 and democracy.fund. Brian is saying, did anyone else notice how Congressman Ted Lieu stopped Bondi in real time, almost certainly lying under oath after playing the infamous clip of Donald J. Trump and Epstein partying in 1992? Yes, she did do that. You're right, Brian. Let me go to Ray in Cincinnati, Ohio, the Buzz. Ray?
Yes, sir. Thanks for taking my call, Rev. Rev, I'm gonna keep this quick. I'll say this. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I'll keep saying it. Back when Hillary almost won, it would have changed the balance of power, for the Democrats. We would have had a Democratic Supreme Court, and it would have changed so many lives around the world, not just the United States, around the world, But this grand jury came back and decided not to indict these 6 senators who said, military doesn't have to follow illegal orders.
Right.
So it's almost like the Supreme Court, not the Supreme Court, but a lot of these courts and judges are siding with the Democrats on a lot of things. But let me ask you this. When the Democrats take back the House, and they will take back the House this November, they can withhold funding from ICE, but it still won't stop Trump from sending ICE back out to these cities and states, right?
Well, it can mean that if, in fact, that Trump is not only handicapped by the budget or by them cutting the funding, but if there are not some blocking by the courts, because you have several lawsuits blocking him from being able to do that. So by the time we get to Election Day in November, a lot of those courts may have ruled that they can't do certain things, as well as the budget be cut. But I think that you've got to fight this on many fronts. The courts, the budget, the streets, we've got to keep fighting at every level we can.
All right, thanks, Rev.
All right, thank you. Let's go to Cheryl in South Carolina. Cheryl. Is Cheryl there?
I'm getting it right now. Getting it right now.
Whether they
Here we go. Got it.
or not, that
Wait a minute, you got to start
we
over.
started
We
with-
didn't hear you. Start again.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, then. Yes, Pastor Sharpton, I'm calling from Florence, South Carolina, and again, the reason for the call is to let everyone know about what's going on with the United States Postal Service. They are saying if you get mail in the mailbox and put it in the post office, it might not be considered as that marked date, especially when it comes to our voting and any important information. And the reason why it could be slow getting through the system is because they got people cut back, working those limited workers very hard, and they're cutting back the volume of workers, but the volume of mail is large, and they're still losing money, and they got a class action lawsuit against them ever since over 18 years ago. They let people go and would not accommodate them for their injuries, on-the-job injuries, or their disabilities. And I'm one of those individuals still waiting on for that settlement. And again, can't even get our congressman or representative to step in and find out why they're taking so long to settle with this lawsuit.
So how long has the lawsuit been in on the postal
18
service?
years, Reverend Sharpner. You can Google it on the site. Anybody can. NRP class action lawsuit with the United States Postal Service.
That's a shame. Well,
And they have not settled, and it's close to 3,000 people. They turned around and let go and didn't do it right by the for his accommodation. Did not accommodate them for their disabilities or on-the-job injuries. And they got less people working in the post office, and that's going to make the mail slower. And again, if you drop a letter off in the mailbox or the post office, that don't mean whenever you don't know when it may get the stamp on it showing when it was mailed. And that has a lot to do with when it comes to voting too. When it comes to our ballots, when time to vote. They're using the post office as another tool to do their dirty work.
yeah. All right, thank you for your call. We need to Google that up, follow that case. That is absolutely outrageous. Bob Watson is saying on the message board, Reverend Al, the Democratic governors cancel the meeting with Trump. I think he will meet with all the Republican governors and tell them to let ICE be at the polls in Democratic voting areas. I wouldn't doubt it. I give credit for the Democratic governors standing up for once. But that does not mean Trump's going back down. There's going to be a fight to the finish. And I tell you what, Bob, some of us ready for the fight because some of us understood we never got nothing anywhere in this country without a fight. So question is, how long can he keep swinging? How long can we keep swinging back? I grew up in the hood, and one thing I've never seen is people afraid of people that they already beat. We beat Trump in 2020. Trump is not invincible. We beat him in 2020. Biden won that election. Don't be so scared of Trump. You saw where even 4 Republicans voted against him in the House on the tariffs. There's starting to be some break in the chink here. When you got the 4 Republicans in the House of Representatives voting against him on the tariff question, that he could have unilateral power of the tariffs, telling me even they're smelling the coffee, that this is not going the way they thought it would go. So you got to just keep going. And because right's going to overpower wrong somehow if you keep going, if you're faithful. I believe that. Kennedy Marie Shabazz is saying, good afternoon, Reverend Sharpton. The hearing with the Attorney General was disappointing and deplorable. How can they sit up there in front of the survivors like they didn't matter? It's terrible. And I ask everyone for prayer to pray for the survivors and anyone that went through abuse. I think that Kennedy is right. They had the victims, some of the victims, in the hearing room. And for her to not take the opportunity to apologize, when a congressperson said, will you apologize to them right now? She came back and attacked the congresswoman. These people went through rape underage, because anytime you have sex underage, it's a rape. Traumatized them for the rest of their life. May never recover totally. And you can't even say, I'm sorry what you went through, based on you got to play bad for Donald Trump. I mean, the country's come and sink that low. It's sick, but we can't allow it to go unanswered. Let's take a break. 1-877-532-5797. Shopton, keeping it real. Be right back.
Some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there and act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to take nights in jails and licks upside the head or shut out of boardrooms like Byron so you could walk down red carpets and act like you got there by yourself. So I received this award with a special place in my heart and on my shelf because I'm getting it from a freedom fighter who never forgot where he came from and how he got there. Yes, we've come a long way. We've had now a black president and now a black vice president, but we still can get shot down and have to march to get a case in court. We still can get shut out of boardrooms. We're still doubly unemployed in a good economy. So we're gonna have to keep marching. And I thank not only my family, a mother that raised me by herself, but I thank that lady at the end of the march that knows she won't be on TV that night and knows her name will never be in the paper, but she believed in me enough to get at the end of the line and make me look good. Because Dr. King used to say, if you call a march and no one shows up, you just going for a walk. And I want to thank those that marched with me. 32 years ago, here in Los Angeles, we marched. And then many years later, with George Floyd and others, we're still marching. And I'm going to keep marching. I'm going to keep agitating. And I'm going to keep going. Until we don't have to do it anymore. Eddie, known you a long time. Mariah, Chris, and your kids. And I promise you this. The only thing that I really live for is I get up with this dream that every bigot, every racist, everyone in this country that hates will say, damn, he's up again.
Around this is so wicked. Now they're going to, they released last night a memo that said that the FBI was investigating good. They're trying to come up with something on the victim. Not they gonna investigate who shot her. The ICE agent shooting in the head 3 times. They're gonna investigate her. And you wonder why we need movements. You wonder why we need to stand up. Hakeem Jeffries was here Monday. Why we need to deal with this midterm election. Well, Reverend, I get calls on my radio show every day. Well, I don't see where voting changed something. All right, let me tell you where, if they lose the Congress this year, where it changes. The Speaker would be Hakeem Jeffries, who grew up right here in Name, as he said on Monday. The Speaker decides then the calendar for the legislative session. The chairs of the committees become Democrats. So the Judiciary Committee, now watch this in the barbershop. The chair of the Judiciary Committee, y'all saw the Judiciary Committee have the hearing and brought in the special counsel yesterday. Well, the chair this time, if the Democrats win, would be a Democrat who could then subpoena the Attorney General Bondi, all of the folks that were involved in January 6th. They can subpoena the Vice President, all of them, because you've got the power of the gavel. Wonder why nobody has asked Pence how he felt running for his life January 6th. Well, if you get the Judiciary Committee, you can subpoena Pence.
This is a defining moment. As our world faces urgent challenges, the movement comes together. National Action Network's 35th anniversary and convention, April 8th through the 11th. Leaders, activists, and community voices united for justice and change. The moment is now. Be in the
I wanted to come today on Martin Luther King Day. Because Martin Luther King died in Memphis fighting for wages for garbage workers. And I believe he would want those of us that come in his tradition to be standing with nurses and standing with those that should be getting wages for saving the lives and caring for people that the private hospitals and other hospitals seem not to care about. How can you spend King Day and turn your back on people that are working and not insured right and not given the right wages and not given the right respect when they're taking care of our afflicted, our ill, our infirm? In the name of Martin Luther King, I join the nurses in demanding justice for the nurses. This is not only a labor issue, this is a civil rights issue. This is a human rights issue. It's an issue that black and white, Latino, Asian, all can stand together. Because those that want to make profits out of people's illness, rather than pay for those that care for them, that stand for them, that are there when their families are not there in some cases. So we had to come on King Day. Many of the dignitaries came to the House of Justice, but I left to come and stand here with them to let them know that Martin Luther King Day is a day to stand up for those that are standing in the cold, but they never left the patients in the cold. No justice. No justice. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Sharpton. Thank you. Thank you.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Keep it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Let's go right back to the phones. 1-877-532-5797. And I've not given announcements, but I'm going right back to the phones after the announcements. I've been on the phone, particularly after watching that House hearing with Attorney General Bondi. So you know I'm going to have some of the members of that committee on the show Saturday and Sunday, and the members of the Senate, because we're getting down to the wire on whether or not we're going to have another temporary shutdown, and some of the Democratic governors who now saying they're not going to the dinner with President Trump because he's excluded Westmore and other Democrats that opposed him. So it's going to be hot and heavy. Don't miss Saturday and Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live on MS Now. Politics Nation live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MS Now. And I'm booking these senators and governors myself. And you, of course, can watch it live on MS Now. You know, a lady stopped me in the street last night and said, Reverend Al, I don't know how you do it. You do radio every day, 5 days a week, this show, Sundays, Sunday morning show I do on FMs, and then Saturday we are live on the radio with the Saturday Rally. And you do your television show, and you do Morning Joe 2 or 3 times a week in the cold wild. So I don't know how you do it. I said, well, if it takes a lot of energy for me to do it, it don't take as much for you to just turn the knob. So you have no excuse. If I can do it, then you ought to be able to say, I can keep up with it. A lot easier on you. And hopefully you're not just watching, but you're getting involved. And you that are in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, being involved is coming to the Saturday Action Rally. We are at Mother AME Zion Church in Harlem for the month of Black History Month. And I'm telling you, the rally Saturday, even in that sub-zero weather, was a great rally. A couple hundred people showed up. I was surprised so many people came up. And, of course, you that watched it and can watch it every Saturday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on YouTube, on Impact Television, and on nationalactionnetwork.net. Don't miss it. And we're getting real close to locking down the registration at the National Action Network Convention. I'm not even released the names yet of who we are going to have there, and we are really, really getting close to the mark. If you have not signed up, it's April the 8th through the 11th. We're dealing with every issue from AI to energy to voter rights to how we deal with the question of DEI to criminal justice. They are still abusing our people in criminal justice. A lot of the victims' families will be there. And, of course, our women's luncheon, ministers' luncheon, youth, all of that. And it's all free. All you have to do is go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, and we will look for you as you register for 1 day, 2 days, or all 4 days. Let us, if there ever was a time, we need to come out that convention hitting the ground. We're going to deal with these companies with the shareholder strategy that we've been studying for a few months now. We'll have it ripe and ready in April. And how we're going to deal with countering their political blockage points at the polls for the midterm elections. So you need to be there. All right, let's go to Yogi in Chicago, Illinois. Yogi, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
How you doing, Rev Mal?
Doing pretty good. How you doing, Yogi?
Oh, yeah, I'm doing fine. They tell me that people are coming to visit you in New York, and when you're there, Jim Reynolds, and say that it's amazing that my name comes up. Isn't that amazing? That comes up. But Rev Mal, with the ICE problem, can't we also have people at the polls just like ICE would have people at the polls? Of course, though, we don't want people coming with guns, but if ICE is going to be there at the polls, what's wrong with us having our people and people there at the polls also, besides the ones that's there to regular say vote?
Well, I think that is part of what we're going to deal with at the convention, because we need to definitely have people there, but they need to be trained. They need to know what their rights are and what they're not, and they need to be, in many ways, prepped on what to do because that's the answer. I mean, I was going to deal with it at the convention, but as always, you thinking ahead of everybody. That's why your name keeps coming up. You hit it right on the head. We cannot let them. You know, we used to have what we call, and still do in some cases, poll watchers. There's nothing stopping us. One of the things that people, I think, allow Trump to do is act like, oh, he's going to do this, like we can't counter it. Let him do what he's going to do. We can strategize against anything he wants to do. We beat people that have far more power than him during segregation. So all we need to do is be organized. That's why we need to convene and be together.
And also, can't we get the regular police officers that are not with ICE to be in position for that protection of people that's coming in line to vote?
That's got to be part of the strategy. That has to be part of the strategy. You're right. You're right.
I just wonder, and I'm still around, Rev Mal, so don't let nobody tell you that Yogi is up there. I'm up in age, but I'm here.
Well, I'm glad to hear your voice. Thank you for calling.
Okay.
And Jim Reynolds is telling you the truth. I always bring up Yogi, and y'all just heard why, because he's thinking. Roderick McCoy says on our message page, I'm glad the governor stood up for each other. I hate for people who would have earned money to make it happen. Thank you for that, Roderick. Let's go to Rick in Germany. Rick, you're keeping it real with Sharpton.
Good day, Brother Sharpton.
Good day.
A couple of quick points. No more than three. First of all, I lost my mother-in-law this past Saturday,
sorry
just before the Super Bowl.
Wow.
She was 83 years of age, and she struggled with a few health challenges. But this woman, this white woman, this German Bavarian woman, opened her home to me as a homeless man many moons ago. And in 2013, she offered her daughter's hand in marriage to me. So I thank God for this woman. She was not a vegetarian, and she was a cigarette smoker, and she was a polite drinker. But she was a human being, and she extended a great kindness to me. And I just want your audience and my family, the Barcodes, the Flowers, to know that. Second, I'll keep it short. I'll keep it to 2 points. I want to step behind the sister that talked about the post office. You know, it's no joke what Trump did in his first term to downsize the post office. And now to take away the services of the post office, to reduce the services of the post office. I think that sister was spot on. And you need to remind your audience of what Trump did in his first term and what he's doing now with the post office, because communication and the vote is more important than delivering merchandise from Amazon to your door. I'm done, brother man.
All right, and you have our sympathy and prayers on the loss of your mother-in-law. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. Hi, it's Reverend Al Sharpton, President and founder of National Action Network. We are at the very end of 2025, and I want to first say that I want to thank all of the officers, chapter leaders, regional directors, national staff, and certainly National Board of National Action Network for a solid and absolutely incredible year in 2025. Despite the fact that we are under assault, voting rights, diversity, equity, and inclusion, the battles globally where we're seeing Nigeria and Venezuela attacked, and on and on and on. We have been steadfast as an activist organization in the tradition of Dr. King. We started the year with a national call that thousands responded to, and we were in Washington on our side of town while Trump was being inaugurated on the other side of town. And we made a pledge. We told people to lift their hand and make the pledge. And we kept that pledge to work all year to keep the dream alive. And that led into when Trump went after DEI. We supported some that were boycotting, and we started boycotting, something that had never happened. We said we're going to go buy from those that have committed to keep DEI, and went in several cities around Costco's and shopping. We've now bought stock in other companies. We're going to shareholder meeting and demand they continue DEI. We've had a sensational National Action Network convention covering the span of activity, from political empowerment to education, to how we deal with the Black church, how we deal with Black women development that has to deal with both discrimination based on gender and race. And of course, we came to Wall Street by the thousands and marched in late summer on the anniversary of the March on Washington. And people thought you could not get people out, and they came from all over the country. And we marched on Wall Street and had an enormous turnout. The only mass Black march, Black-led march this year. We had a lot of protests, a lot of marches. I salute all No Kings marches and all. But the Black called Black Organization March, it welcomed everybody. We had white, Black, everybody there. Was our march on Wall Street in August. And then our Triumph Award and on into our fall agenda of organizing, mobilizing. We've expanded. We've started chapters in about 12 new cities. So I am proud of what we've done this year, but it's only the beginning, because our very rights are under attack, and they're not even being quiet about it. They want to revoke the Voting Rights Act. Section 2 may fall with this agreement. They want to end the Civil Rights Act of 64. That's what the end of DEI is about. So let us be more alert and active than ever. History will decide whether the civil rights gains of the 50s and 60s died in the 2020s. That's on your watch and mine. So if we've got to march, we have to protest, we have to lobby, we have to rally, whatever we need to do, we need to put our shoulder to the wheel more than ever. I'm going to lay out a plan on King Day, both in Harlem at our annual event and in Washington at our annual Martin Luther King Day breakfast that we do in D.C., we do two cities that day. And then, of course, all roads lead to New York, April for our convention. We had, as I said, the largest attendance convention last year in 2025. It needs to be more this year because our very existence is at stake. We also are closing our negotiations on a new headquarters, our national headquarters that befit our mission. I'm so excited about it, but I can't give you details. We're just about ready to sign the contract, but it will be something that will last longer than many of our lifetimes. So we came alive in 25, despite a hostile administration, despite the fact that a lot of people were intimidated and spooked into silence. We came alive in 25. Now we have to straighten out tricks in 26. I need you. We need each other. Let's do this. All these tricks, don't forget, Trump only won by 1.5%. He is trying to act like he has a mandate. No, he has a mission, Project 2025. We have the mandate that we can't let them undo what has been done. And we must even go further for the empowerment of all people. Happy New Year. And be focused.
Welcome back, everybody. My next guest is a TV and radio personality. He's an activist and the author of a new book, The Rejected Stone, Al Sharpton and the Path to American Leadership. Please welcome my friend, Reverend Al Sharpton. Ram, how you doing?
Good.
Oh, look at you. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are
Boy,
you?
you getting sharper and sharper.
No, I'm trying to be like you.
Man, I'm trying to get my weight together, man. You look good. How much weight have you lost?
All told, about 120 pounds.
That's been great, man. I'm gonna get into this book, but I gotta tell you, man, I really do appreciate your stand for the small man. I think it's the common man that has really connected with you over the years, and the common cause, I think, has been very, very effective.
Well, thank you. That's what my ministry is all about.
Yeah.
You have to know in life what your passion is, what gets you up in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my passion. And I once you lose it, you should get out of it and do something else.
Right. Now, it's been 10 years since your last book. Why is this one really important to you at this point?
You know, people stop me all over wherever I'm traveling and say to me, you've changed so much. You've gone radio now, TV every day. Your National Action Network has gotten formidable. You go to the White House, and you lost a lot of weight. How did you transform yourself? I want to go to the next level in my life. And I thought about it. I said, rather than just talk politics, I wanted to write a book about how anybody, any race, any religion, can transform themselves and go to the next step in life and not be afraid to do it, because you can do it.
Right.
And I'm a billboard of that.
Right, exactly. Just like me, Reverend Al Sharpton has some principles that he lives by, characteristics of being a leader. So what's the first principle that you say makes a person a leader?
You have to first decide where you're going. You know, most people never arrive because they don't have a destination. If you go to the airport, first thing you have to decide is where you're going. You can't even price the ticket, get through security nowhere if you're not going anywhere.
Right.
And we hang out in the airports of life. That's the first thing you have to do. Second, you can't be afraid to think big and be big. We all are born a certain race, certain, economic class. We put in categories. You got to think bigger than that. And lastly, be consistent and disciplined. And I think that discipline is something that a lot of people cannot apply, which robs them of their greatness. So in the book, I talk about how I learned. I give anecdotes. You know, I was very close with James Brown, the singer. He was like a father of mine. Right. Michael Jackson. I talk about my relationship with the president. And I talk about how I learned these things and different things from different people, right, because nobody gets big by accident. You have to do it by having a diligent plan.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's that thinking big part that stops a lot of people, because they see themselves in their environment only. You know, my mother, when I was small, used to bring home travel magazines. Mm-hmm. And my father didn't understand, why you buying all these travel magazines? We ain't got no money to go to these places. She said, it's for Steve now, the kids, because I want them to see other places, because one day they will be able to go. And I saw Aruba. I was snorkeling in the Barrier Reef at 9. No money to get there, but it was them making me see it.
You know, the rejected stone comes from the Bible. the rejected stone to be the cornerstone. We've all been rejects, whether in our homes, whether Reverend Al Sharpton, 1-877-532-5797, 532-5797, Sharpton. Keeping it real. You can also go on the message board and send me a message like James Thomas is sending, saying, the Epstein survivors, I hope that your vote for the con man was a bad one because we black folks was trying to tell you that you were about to be conned by a snake oilsman. And then Evangelist Ramsey, one of the baddest activists in the land, is saying, don't forget Thursday, 12 noon, February 12th, 12 noon, DEI. This is the 109th week. Nan is going out there with Evangelist Ramsey and others in front of 787 11th Avenue, 12 noon. You can pick it. They've been out there 109 weeks. And that is where the offices of one of the architects of killing DEI, we said we were going to be out there, and they've not missed a week. Join them out there on 11th Avenue, 12 noon, 12 to 1 every Saturday in front of Bill Ackman's office. He's the one that led this fight that toppled the first black woman in Harvard a couple of years ago and ending DEI, which is costing us jobs, contracts. We cannot let the pressure up. All right, let's go to Ira in Washington, D.C. Ira.
Hey, good evening, Reverend Sharpton. Thanks for taking my call. Today I got something a little different. I'm going to do 6 minutes instead of 5. First of all, I just want to say that I did get to see the Jimmy Kimmel show, that you always get a chance to watch it. If you want to know an enlightening thing about presidential or stuff that's going on, he's the man to go to. He's so serious about his business. If anybody can't watch it, Google it the next day and watch his opening monologue. It's so enlightening. That's the first thing. That's a great thing. And also, I saw the article that I want to enlighten the people about Wes Moore. They were saying that when leadership excludes the only black governor in America, the issue is in politics, it's principle. Everyone governor should stand up and decline the invitation. Integrity requires solidarity. And that's really a truth to that point.
Yeah, well, the Democrats have stood up. Democrats said they're not going.
Well, that's a great thing, and that's a good thing that they should do, and I can understand that's the way it should go. My second thing is about I saw an article which is made by this person called Pretty PRETTY_LA_3. It's about the quantum financial system, which is designed to collapse our current system. It's what that is entailed to do. I didn't want to go into detail because you had to look it up, and it's a lot to it, but it's fact checking. It's actually legitimate, and my last thing that I want to go across, I got something from this young lady called it's SHAUNASBORD, Shauna's Board. It's on Instagram, all those on Instagram. It's in reference to the NATC Trump regime trying to nationalize consumer banking, which is a whole lot of stuff to it that they can't do that. And I found out that the Trump family is in cahoots with this. They want to do that because they have some kind of voluntary Trump cards and stuff like that, and is in cahoots with their family, has ties to that cryptocurrency stuff, and there's the World Liberty Financial Group, which is backed by the Trump family in order to get a debit card to bypass traditional banking intermediaries. So I just want to pass that along to folks so they can be enlightened about how they're trying to make you be something that they want you to be. So that's what I got to say, brother.
All right, thank you for your call. Let's go to my friend in Chevy Chase, Maryland, Miss Richardson. Miss Richardson.
Yes, good afternoon, my Reverend.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, Rev, I just want to get some clarity about what you and I were talking about, but I did want to touch on the drone because on local news, they were saying that their drones trying to come in with drug cartel by planes or whatever, helicopters or planes, the drone situation. And they were trying to, they're saying that they're trying to get into U.S. airspace. See, Reb, these criminals, they're trying to
wait
do...
Wait a minute, I'm trying to understand what
you're
saying. The drones from who? Mm-hmm. Whose drones?
Well, they just said on the news there's a drone that was trying to come in on U.S. airspace.
Yeah, but
That's all it
directed
said.
by who?
Well, it didn't specifically say direct, but I mean, the drones were these people that were against America. They're trying to bring this drug cartel situation.
Yeah, but again, there are a lot of people against America. Is it China directing the drones? Is it Russia? Is it some of the Caribbean countries they messing with? I think that it is very important. We know who we are accusing of the drones, so we know what we are being cautious
But I mean,
of.
Right. I'm just citing out that they're drones, And so you men would know more about that if you're doing your research than we women, because we women don't read about, or we don't, in general, will pay that sort of, because that's...
I don't know if gender has anything to do with information. I think you brought up the information. You're a woman. That's why I'm asking you. I've not seen the reports you're talking about.
Okay, but Reb, I'm trying to tell you, this is on local news, the news that comes on for a half an hour, and then they bring those ridiculous soap operas on, and you know who's watching that. So I'm only saying, Reb, it's a local newscast that come on at noon, and they just cited on the reading drones are in the trying to come into U.S. airspace. But I wanted to connect with you were saying that we did have a Jewish president, because when I talked and I said we've never had a Jewish president, Reb, and you said you disagreed with me.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that about I never saw a Jewish president. I think that's a fact that called himself Jewish. I think it was another point that I think you said something like we had never had one run or something like that. But I take 30 calls a day, Ms. Richardson. I don't remember every conversation. You'd have to cite.
You don't remember that one?
No.
Yeah.
You have to tell me exactly.
Yeah,
what we're
because.
talking about.
But it was I was talking about Bernie, and when you had pointed out that Bernie, but you just you cited very, specifically he wasn't for reparations, but there are other programs that blacks agree with him on, not just reparations. Don't forget, Obama was black president. He came in and he was against reparations
and I disagreed with him. I disagree. I think what I was saying was that the only one, a caller had brought up about reparations, and that we need to ask all of the candidates about it. And I said I did that. And the only one at our convention, because I did the Q&A myself, that said they were not supporting reparations was Bernie Sanders. And that's a fact. Now, I didn't say that there were not other things that Bernie stood for that would not be helpful. I was answering the point of somebody saying about reparations. You're correct. Barack Obama didn't support reparations, and I disagree with him, but I still supported him on other things. So that's a fact.
Other things, yeah. That's what I think. That's what I was trying to point out. Maybe you came in a little before I was getting there, because I was going to say, on a lot of Bernie's issues, blacks agree with him. And you did say a lot of blacks voted for him, but I mean,
no, he never got. He got some black votes. That's correct. He never got the majority of the black votes in
no,
a
not
lot
the
of
majority. I guess I don't want to. Because I don't want you to understand me. I love you too much, but that's not really what I'm saying. I'm just saying he did have some votes.
Yeah, he did.
And but the last thing I just want to say, you can go, because I know you're up for the break. You see, this thing with these things in the air, it scares me. Because see, when I hang up, could you just speak after the break? 911 was the same thing. How did these Muslims, or whatever they are, how did they get into the U.S. airspace to begin with?
How do we know? How do we know they're Muslims if we don't know who's doing it? We can't say that. That's why I'm asking you. Drones from where? Now we saying Muslim. We don't know that. You said the local news said drones. They didn't send them out Muslims.
No, I'm going back to 911 when we had the September 11, 2001.
But that wasn't drones.
And then people. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. How did they get into U.S. airspace? Don't
Because
we have technology
they
to keep them out?
hijacked U.S. planes. These were planes that were already coming into U.S. airspace.
Oh, I see. So they had hijacked U.S. planes.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess you really cleared it up, Rip. And I'll call you a little later in the week.
All right. Thank you, Miss Richardson. Let's get ready to take a break. 1-877-532-5797 Shopton, keeping it real. Be right back.
This is the first Thanksgiving I'm here in New York. Over 20 years. I'm just glad to be able to rep today and to hand out the food. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
It's Erica Ford, the Peace Doctor in the building. Here at the National Action Network, it's about thanks. It's about giving. It's about gratitude. It's about love. I feel it is important for you to understand that there's work out here to be done, but it starts with gratitude, it starts with giving, it starts with peace, it starts with love. And let's go.
Before we feed our family, we got to make sure that we feed the community. That's right. That's what it's all about. We have to come with sharp phones. You come and you make sure you show up, serve the community. That's what it's all about.
The fact of the matter is, Rosa Parks was not only the mother of the modern civil rights movement, she was the mother of this nation. Why would you say that, Shopton? Because you called George Washington the father of the nation, but when he became father, we wasn't included in the nation. Women were not included in the nation. The first time we had a parent in this nation is when all of us was included, and Rosa Parks did that on December 1st, 1955. I heard somebody say Jim Crow is who she fought, and Jim Crow is still around. But Jim Crow is old. That's not who I'm mindful of today. The problem is Jim Crow has sons. The one we got to battle is James Crow Jr. Esquire. He's a little more educated. He's a little slicker. He's a little more polished. But the results are the same. He doesn't put you in the back of the bus. He just puts referendums on the ballot to end affirmative action when you can't go to school. He doesn't call you a racial name. He just marginalizes your existence. He doesn't tell you that he's set against you. He sets up institutional racism, where you have a nation respond looking for weapons in Iraq that are not there, but can't see a hurricane in Louisiana that is there. James Crow Jr. Esquire. That's who we got to fight. And if we are to win, if we are to really memorialize Rosa Parks, she would tell us to do in the generation of his son what she and Dr. King did to his daddy. They didn't talk a fight, they fought the fight. They didn't show up at funerals, they showed up on the picket line and the march line and the jailhouse. It amazes me that we sit there acting like we don't have work to do. And that many of us in our own community are mocking her memory. They formed a movement when they had none of what we got. You realize that Dr. King and Dr. Abernathy and them formed a boycott after Rosa Parks where people stayed off the bus for a year, went to rallies every night, and they never had email, never had a cell phone, never could go online. Here you got 2 cell phones in your pocket, emails, computers at the house, and can't even get a block association meeting together. We got so much more that they gave us, and we're doing so much less with it. They went to vote when people were threatening their lives. Medgar Evers was shot dead in his driveway, left 3 children inside that never knew how it was to have a father in their adult years died to give us the right to vote. Pregnant women marched through the streets of Birmingham. They sick police dogs on them to give us the right to vote. 4 little girls bombed in a church in Birmingham, Alabama to give us the right to vote. And here you are 40 years later in Detroit, Michigan. No dogs biting you, no bombs going off, no bullets, too lazy and ungrateful. Making mockery of her memory. Making mockery of her memory. Nobody should have to beg you to vote. Nobody should have to beg you to stand up and protect the rights that they died and suffered to give us. You can't take care of one thing on the ballot in Michigan when they had to change the laws of all 50 states. You complaining about one referendum when they did a whole revolution and never fired one shot. And then you turn it around on each other. Why do I want my daughters to visit that stone? Because I want them to know black women are not hoes. You have music companies selling misogynist records to our children. Black womanhood was Rosa Parks sitting in dignity. She wasn't break dancing. She wasn't talking about pimp me out. She made the world respect her people. So I want to thank Reverend Jackson and Mrs. Jackson and others that taught us a little younger who Rosa was, and we got to pass that on. Now, I want to challenge everybody here today that when we leave here, you ought to make a Rosa resolution. You ought to make one commitment in her name to yourself. That you're going to either join some organization or you're going to stand for some policy. You ought to make a Rosa resolution. You ought to resolve that you're going to do something that'll make a difference because we're here because she made a difference. Most people come and go and we never come to say goodbye because their hellos didn't mean anything to us. But we're here because she touched every one of us. And we need to make a Rosa resolution. I said to some of the young rappers the other day, talking to me about, well, you get on us about calling women out their names. I said you need to come and know the story of a dignified woman. They make the excuse, Mayor Kilpatrick said, well, you know, we love Aretha and that generation, but we just kick it like we see it. We just mirrors that reflect what we see. But there's something strange about that. I use a mirror every morning. But I don't get up out the bed, hair all over my head, sleep around my eyes, slobber around my mouth, walk outside talking about I'm going to keep it real. Mirrors are not only to reflect what you see, mirrors are to correct what you see. You need to make a Rosa resolution that we're going to correct what we see. We're going to keep the fight going. And we're going to have James Crow Jr. Esquire know that we are the children of those that change the world. My Rosa resolution is they won't have no rest until we finish the fight. Wherever I see an injustice, I'm going to stand up. If I can't stand up, I'm going to speak out. And if I can't speak out, I'm going to do like a Rosa. I'm going to get me a
1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. Tricia saying they shut the airport down and did not notify the people in El Paso. Mayor Johnson and Congresswoman Escobar criticized the FAA for failure to communicate. Stay woke. Yeah, I saw that, and I might have one of them on Politics Nation this weekend, Tricia, because who's calling these signals, and they didn't even notify the local mayors involved. Johnson's involved because most of those flights connect through Chicago. And all of that should have been, let's say, handled differently. I'll put it that way. Let's go to Sister Sheena in Baltimore. Sister Sheena.
Good afternoon, Reverend Al Sharpton.
Good afternoon.
I first would like to say thank you for your unwavering support that you showed us during the fight for our former State's Attorney, Marilyn Mosby. The entire community and her family appreciates that. But today here in Baltimore, the community and families and the team of Dr. Edwin Event over at the Baltimore Collegiate School for Boys, they have a fight on their hands, and we are teaming up with them to give them unwavering support. So I wanted to bring you on board to up to date about that as well.
Please.
The school was voted by Baltimore City School Board a 6-4 vote under the leadership of Dr. Sandalisa to close it. The analysis was that they did not have proper funding, but once the community and parents got involved, we learned from the leadership over at the school that they were underfunded. So they had a case in court about the funding. They've been successful to win some of those funds back. We don't know the dollar amount at this point, but they were successful on that probably about a week ago. And now they have a hearing that is scheduled on February the 19th at 12:30 before Baltimore City City Council. So we're asking people to come down to that. And the reasoning is that...
Give us the day again, the day and where.
Okay, it's at City Hall, Baltimore City Council, February the 19th at 12:30.
All right.
And the reason we're helping this school fight is because they have a 90% success rate. It is a all-boys school, and they target individuals through grade 4 through 8, and many of them come to the school deficient. But the school has done more with less. So although they have been underfunded, they had a 90% graduation rate. They follow these young men all the way through school, and many of the testimony, one young man wants to be a corporate lawyer. So many people have gotten involved. Now, the reason I brought it to you because you have access to the governor, and I don't want to assume that he's not doing anything. So I'm asking you to use your connection if you can let him know what is actually happening to Baltimore Collegiate School for Boys. So if everyone could just go to Baltimore Collegiate, and I'm going to spell that COLLEGIATE.com. It will bring you everything up about the school. You can donate there. They have a foundation. It is so much because this school is an asset. So often we say our young boys are doing terrible things. But when you go to this school, and I commend people, ask them to go. It's 2525 Kirk Avenue here in Baltimore City. Visit the school, go to the website, get in touch with the CEO and the principal and their team over there. They need our help. This is an asset. Our children, this intercepts that pipeline to the prison. And we know what is our trauma that has been experienced in our community, and no one has apologized for that. And but yet this
Now, give me the site again where people can look this up.
Sure, it is BaltimoreCollegiate.com.
Okay.
I'm going to spell collegiate. COLLEGIATE. That's BaltimoreCollegiate.com. And their foundation is 5 Smooth Stones Foundation. That's 5 Smooth Stones Foundation. But if you go to the website, it'll bring everything up.
All right.
It'll tell you about the school, that's BaltimoreCollegiate.com. COLL.
And make sure you call back in before the 19th and remind us again. We need to support anything.
Okay, I'm a
I agree with
I will try. If I can't, I'm going to give your information to Dr. Edwin Event.
Either
so
one.
That he can
Either
call
one.
If I'm not able to.
All right. Because I agree with Tricia on the message board. 90% graduation rate is awesome. Tricia says, I agree with
our
that.
school system in Baltimore City. And this isn't to put anyone down, because here's the thing, Reverend Al, our children are where they are. Now, Baltimore City has a 60% graduation rate now. Baltimore Collegiate School for Boys is a charter school. They have a 90%. So it would make sense for us to come together collectively and say, hey, bro, let me see your model. Let's duplicate that.
Yeah.
Because the goal is to get our children where they should be.
Make it work.
It's not to knock anybody down. If you're not there, you're not there. Go on. She's leaving. So the CEO won't be here. And if that's her choice, that's her choice. We're going to respect that. But we're going to not abandon our children. And so I just wanted to share that. But I also want to share one more thing if I can. Here in Baltimore, our businesses, particularly inner city Black businesses, are under attack. They are really struggling. We need our governor and those Democrats to get funding to help our businesses thrive, because when our businesses thrive, our communities thrive. So please, Terra Cafe is at 101 East 25th Street. He needs our unwavering support. This is major for us. This brother has given so much help to the most vulnerable for the last 30 years in our community. He feeds the homeless. He helps people get employment. That is Terra Cafe. And he has a GoFundMe page, powerupterracafe.com. So please go there and help this brother and get the word to the government. Find a way to get some funding to our businesses, because we need your help. This is our taxpaying dollars. And so we would like to have some appropriated to that whole corridor up there. Is a small Black Wall Street there, and they're struggling. So let's do that, you guys, and continue to uplift each other and come together and pray for those victims, because I saw that today, Brother Al, that's pure evil. We got to understand, we're wrestling against wickedness, and the scriptures teaches us this. Not flesh and blood, but wickedness. And when you can see that individuals have been traumatized and you don't have a bone in your body to say, I'm sorry.
Wouldn't even turn around and look at him. Wouldn't even turn around and look at him.
Wouldn't even look at him. But
I mean, it's wickedness in high places. I mean, I think you quoted the scripture correctly. You got to be wicked. I mean, they don't even feign or pretend empathy. They just, boom, I'm going to attack right back. And this is ridiculous.
But it's okay, because here's the thing. Sometimes we and I know it's painful, but I just, because I had to pray. And sometimes I said, the Lord had to show us that in order to bring all the angels together. I tell people, it's not about black or white, pink or blue. The goodness, when you wake up in the morning and say, I want to do good today, that means you're operating in the realm of the spiritual realm of what the Lord wants us to do.
Yeah.
Yahweh, whoever your faith is. But we must continue tonight. That's why I say our politicians, we need y'all on the ground coming to us now, because we can get the people there, Reverend Al, but we need help. This is an economic society, and we need economics. And so that's just the way it rolls.
I love it.
So we love you. We respect you.
Love you. Thank you. Stay in touch. I'll have them
take a
give me
break,
that
too.
once again before the 19th. Let me go to David in Washington, D.C. David.
Thank you for taking my call, Reverend Shopton, and thank you for the lady who just testified about the situation in Baltimore. I just want to point out something that I just heard today coming out of the Trump administration on conservative radio, that he is favoring for new hires to the government people without a lot of student debt, a lot of student loans. If that is true, that means traditionally where we have had our people, our kids go into government, and most of them do have student loans, are going to be freezed up. That means the ruling class who are going to making the judgments in government are going to be basically white kids, free of debt, what have you, from the aristocracy. And that's frightening. That's frightening. So I just wanted to point that out. I don't know where it's coming from, but I think we should investigate that because we are one nation of all people with all kinds of backgrounds economically. And thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for calling, and I'm going to check that information out. Student debt is a real problem in our community disproportionately because of disproportionate resources and other factors that are race-based. So I'm going to check that out. Thank you for that, David. Let's take a break. Be right back. More of you on the phones. 1-877-532-5797. Shopton, keeping it real. Be right back. All over the world today, people are gathered in love vigils to celebrate the life of a man that taught the world how to love. People may be wondering why there's such an emotional outburst, but you would have to understand the journey of Michael to understand what he meant to all of us. For these that sit here as the Jackson family, a mother and father with 9 children that rose from a working class family in Gary, Indiana. They had nothing but a dream. No one believed in those days that these kind of dreams could come true. But they kept on believing, and Michael never let the world turn him around from his dreams. I first met Michael around 1970, Black Expo, Chicago, Illinois, Reverend Jesse Jackson, who stood by this family till now. And from that day as a cute kid to this moment, he never gave up dreaming. It was that dream that changed culture all over the world. When Michael started, it was a different world. But because Michael kept going, because he didn't accept limitations, because he refused to let people decide his boundaries, he opened up the whole world. In the music world, he put on one glove, pulled his pants up, and broke down the color curtain, where now our videos are shown and magazines put us on the cover. It was Michael Jackson that brought blacks and whites and Asians and Latinos together. It was Michael Jackson that made us sing "We Are the World" and feed the hungry long before Live Aid. Because Michael Jackson kept going, he created a comfort level where people that felt they were separate became interconnected with his music. And it was that comfort level that kids from Japan and Ghana and France and Iowa and Pennsylvania got comfortable enough with each other to later it wasn't strange to us to watch Oprah on television. It wasn't strange to watch Tiger Woods golf. Those young kids grew up from being teenage, comfortable fans of Michael to being 40 years old and being comfortable to vote for a person of color to be the president of the United States of America. Michael did that. Michael made us love each other. Michael taught us to stand with each other. There are those that like to dig around mess
but millions around the world, we're going to uphold his message. It's not about mess, it's about his love message. As you climb up steep mountains, sometimes you scar your knee, sometimes you break your skin, but don't focus on the scars, focus on the journey. Michael rose to the top. He outsang his cynics. He outdanced his doubters. He outperformed the pessimists. Every time he got knocked down, he got back up. Every time you counted him out, he came back in. Michael never stopped. Michael never stopped. Michael never stopped. I want to say to Mrs. Jackson and Joe Jackson, his sisters and brothers, we thank you for giving us someone that taught us love, someone that taught us hope. We want to thank you because we know it was your dream too. And we know that your heart is broken. I know you have some comfort from the letter from the President of the United States and Nelson Mandela, but this was your child. This was your brother. This was your cousin. Nothing will fill your heart's loss. But I hope the love that people are showing will make you know he didn't live in vain. And I want his 3 children to know, wasn't nothing strange about your daddy. It was strange what your daddy had to deal with. But he dealt with it. He dealt with it anyway. He dealt with it for us. So some came today, Mrs. Jackson, to say goodbye to Michael. I came to say thank you. Thank you because you never stopped. Thank you because you never gave up. Thank you because you never gave out. Thank you because you tore down our divisions. Thank you because you eradicated barriers. Thank you because you gave us hope. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael.
Hi, this is Reverend Al Sharpton for the month of February, Black History Month. The Saturday Action Rally will be at Mother AME Zion Church, 137th Street, between Lenox and 7th Avenues from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. We're glad as we transition into our new headquarters. Our 4 Saturdays of Black History Month, we'll be doing those rallies at Mother AME Zion. Stand on historic ground, holy ground, where Frederick Douglass spoke, where Madam C.J. Walker was funeralized, where Sojourner Truth had an underground railroad come through. I'm so excited about being there as it prepares us to move on. Keeping it real, keeping it real. Stand on the rock. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, twitter.com, The Rev Al, or go right to the message page at nationalactionnetwork.net. National Action Network, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Don't forget, Politics Nation, with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Saturday and Sunday, is heating up. I'm booking in between me and my staff over there at MS Now. I'm starting to get the people I want for this weekend. It's going to be a very consequential weekend. So make sure you watch both nights, Saturday and Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. MS Now. I keep going back to MSNBC. I'll get it in a minute. MS Now. You that are in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, meet me at the Saturday Action Rally. We are this month at the Mother AME Zion Church, 140 West 137th Street in Harlem, 137th between Lenox and 7th, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The house church of Frederick Douglass spoke there. Paul Robeson was a member there. Paul Robeson's brother pastored there. C.J. Walker's funeral was there. We go on Black History Month, where Black history was made, a historic site. We had a great rally Saturday, kicking it off in sub-zero weather. You definitely want to be there. You that are not in the New York and vicinity area can watch it live on Impact Television. Or you can go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, live stream and watch it, or YouTube/NAN and watch it. And, of course, the convention. I'm getting the new numbers maybe before I get off the air, but we are getting real close to cutoff. So don't be people home singing, tell me how long the train been gone, because we are going down these tracks toward justice. You need to be a part of it. So go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or call the toll-free number 1-877-626-4651. All right, let's go to Dallas, Texas, to Leon. Leon, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Good afternoon, Reverend Al.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, a couple things I wanted to ask you about, if you were familiar with. First of all, this Blue Square project that Robert Kraft talked about during the Super Bowl ad.
I heard about it, and I saw the ad, but I'm not familiar with it, no.
Well, it seems that he wants African Americans to team with Jewish people to oppose hate.
Right.
And I don't have a problem opposing hate. But what I'm wondering is, where is his outspokenness against these anti-DEI initiatives and these other things that have been thrown at us in the last year or two? I mean, we have a saying down here that it seems like you want us to march with you, but you're not marching with us.
Right.
And considering that, a lot of your, company, if you want to call it like that, is a lot of black people, a lot of black men playing football. Where is your outspokenness against these things?
Well, now has the group he's talking about forming, have they taken a position on DEI to your knowledge?
No, I have not heard anything about that. And that's
I want to check that out, because I know that he does business with Robert Smith, the black billionaire, because Robert Smith had him come to the march for George Floyd we did in 2020. Kraft came with Robert Smith. So I'm going to ask Robert, who's a big proponent of DEI, made billions of dollars there of DEI. I'm going to ask Robert Smith about it. But I did see the announcement. I don't know the detail.
Okay. Secondly, are you familiar with I saw this segment on CNN where the Russians are going into poor African countries recruiting African men to fight for them against the Ukrainians, and they make them sign a contract in Russian. They don't know what they're reading. They promise them they'll make X number of dollars so they can send it back home to Africa. And then when they get there, they give them a couple of weeks training and put them on the front lines. And if they get wounded, they don't even want to care for them.
Yeah, I saw that.
The segment I mean, I'm just outraged. I mean, it's really appalling that we don't have any
saw that,
outreach.
and I don't understand why there's no outrage in Africa, where these African countries that they're taking them from, why they're allowing Russia to violate their sovereignty and border, and why there's not more outrage from us here in America. Because and I don't know why Zelensky is not bringing it up on. He has a global platform as president of Ukraine. They're coming in there fighting his people.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I mean, that's why I don't have any friends, I guess. I see these big elephants in the room, and people don't want to be around me. But you seem like you understand this stuff and how this stuff affects, people on different levels. So I just wanted to drop those two things on you and say thank you again for, trying to stand, even though you don't have as much help as you need. But I'll say maybe this November some of it's coming.
Well, let's keep
I'll put
going.
it like that.
And don't worry about being alone. I've been alone most of my life, and so much so that I found the best company I could have is myself. Thank you for your call, Leon. If you feel lonely, just call me. We can be lonely together. Thank you for your call. James Thomas is saying, inspired by Leon, saying, I agree on this is on the message board. James Thomas said, I agree with Leon. Another question, I think this is right, to ask is why is the NFL not hiring black coaches and owners giving money to the Trump administration for tax breaks? That's a very good, I'm going to ask Robert Smith. I need to have the direct conversation with Robert Kraft because he's one of the owners. He can affect other owners and answer for himself. I think that's a very, very good point that James is making and Leon made. Let me go to Still Bill in Cincinnati, Ohio. Still Bill.
This is the day the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. Good afternoon, Reverend.
Good afternoon.
I saw the Super Bowl, and I tell you, to me, it was an embarrassment, really. Not just for New England, but just for the whole ideal and everything of, halftime with Bad Bunny. I mean, who is this character? It's just where it's my first time of knowing about him. But overall, I am celebrating Black History Month. I look at it as though the James Brown song, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. I'm talking loud and I'm saying something. I look at it as the fact that, our heritage will not be tarnished. It will not vanish because of Donald Trump. I mean, I look at it as though, like, I am proud of my heritage. I am proud of the fact that I am black and that I earned something instead of having it given to me. And Reverend, I tell you, you inspire me so much. And the disgrace that I'm really bugged about is Donald Trump breasting Barack Obama and Michelle Obama as apes. I tell you, for a president to act like that, I mean, he's really immature. But I'm just going to brush it off like it's dust. And Reverend, you keep up the good work of what you're doing. I watch Politics Nation, and I get inspired every time. And you just do a stellar job as you always do. I know you got other callers, so I'm going to send off. And to Dominique Sharpen, your daughter, I am still Bill, and I will keep it real.
Well, Dominique's in the office, and I'll let her know that you're going to do that. Let me take a break. And I'm coming to everybody on the phone and reading your messages. 1-877-532-5797. Shopton, keeping it real. Be right back. I wanted to come today on Martin Luther King Day. Because Martin Luther King died in Memphis fighting for wages for garbage workers. And I believe he would want those of us that come in his tradition to be standing with nurses and standing with those that should be getting wages for saving the lives and caring for people that the private hospitals and other hospitals seem not to care about. How can you spend King Day and turn your back on people that are working and not insured right and not given the right wages and not given the right respect when they're taking care of our afflicted, our ill, our infirm? In the name of Martin Luther King, I join the nurses in demanding justice for the nurses. This is not only a labor issue, this is a civil rights issue. This is a human rights issue. It's an issue that black and white, Latino, Asian, all can stand together. Because those that want to make profits out of people's illness, rather than pay for those that care for them, that stand for them, that are there when their families are not there in some cases. So we had to come on King Day. Many of the dignitaries came to the House of Justice, but I left to come and stand here with them to let them know that Martin Luther King Day is a day to stand up for those that are standing in the cold, but they never left the patients in the cold. No justice. No justice. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Sharpton. Thank you. Thank you.
Reverend Sharpton, how do we begin to make peace with our past?
I don't think it's our obligation to make peace with our past. I think it's our obligation to learn from our past and to understand that soon we gonna be the past. I mean, a lot of us act like we gonna be permanent and that the past is the past. If we draw on the strengths of the past and uphold the dignity and the integrity of our people, and then perform it at our highest level in our generation, as Dr. Moss said, that's our obligation. You know, one of the reasons that I've been so concerned about this cultural tone that we're in now is a lot of us have lost the dignity that our community has shown from Jamestown to now. I've questioned some of the artists that no longer sing to uplift us. And there's never been a generation that didn't use our music and our culture to lift us up. And the excuse is where they say, well, we just want to show what's there. But we never just accepted what was there. We always looked at what was there and looked through it and brought our people the way it needed to be. So in slavery time, we were singing Go Down Moses and Swing Low Sweet Chariot. We wasn't singing about the cotton picking nigga in the field. That's what we saw, but that's not what we sang. In slavery,
in segregation time, we were singing "We Shall Overcome." Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. We wasn't singing "The Hole in the Back of the Bus." So where is this coming from? And that's what we need to challenge. I wish, all of this about our friend Barack announced today. I wish Obama had announced here, because Lincoln did not free us. The abolitionist movement freed us. Lincoln accommodated to freedom fighters. He was not a freedom fighter. Kennedy accommodated the king. Johnson accommodated the king. We got to quit giving the wrong people credit for our history.
Around this is so wicked. Now they're going to, they released last night a memo that said that the FBI was investigating good. They're trying to come up with something on the victim. Not they're going to investigate who shot her. The ICE agent shooting in the head 3 times. They're going to investigate her. And you wonder why we need movements. You wonder why we need to stand up. Hakeem Jeffries was here Monday. Why we need to deal with this midterm election. Well, Reverend, I get calls on my radio show every day. Well, I don't see where voting changed them. All right, let me tell you where, if they lose the Congress this year, where it changes. The Speaker would be Hakeem Jeffries, who grew up right here in Nankin, as he said on Monday. The Speaker decides then the calendar for the legislative session. The chairs of the committees become Democrats. So the Judiciary Committee, now watch this in the barbershop. The chair of the Judiciary Committee, y'all saw the Judiciary Committee have the hearing and brought in the special counsel yesterday. Well, the chair this time, if the Democrats win, would be a Democrat who could then subpoena the Attorney General Bondi, all of the folks that were involved in January 6th. They can subpoena the Vice President, all of them, because you've got the power of the gavel. Wonder why nobody has asked Pence how he felt running for his life January 6th. Well, if you get the Judiciary Committee, you can subpoena Pence.
This is a defining moment. As our world faces urgent challenges, the movement comes together. National Action Network's 35th anniversary and convention, April 8th through the 11th. Leaders, activists, and community voices united for justice and change. The moment is now. Be in the
Tony Wafer, Los Angeles chapter, National Action Network. He just came in here to New York a couple days ago. Had to stop by the House of Justice, and I sure enough found some justice, so I know I can leave here feeling like I got peace.
I thank God I was blessed to have both in my life. Both historic, strong figures. But if I misused them, and listen to not only figures that are not as historic as them, but figures that had nothing to do with the calling and purpose of my life, I would live confused. I'd be double-minded. I'm clear. And what I want you to do is be clear. Clear on who you are and why you are. And a lot of that will be exposed to you and others by who you are around and who you allow to enter your head. Keep people at a distance that only have a distant and unclear vision of who you are and who you are supposed to be. They could be your blood relatives, but they could not be the ones that accompany you toward what you ought to be about. Everybody good to you ain't good for you. Everybody that makes you laugh sometimes end up making you a joke. Hi, this is Reverend Al Sharpton for the month of February, Black History Month. The Saturday Action Rally will be at Mother AME Zion Church, 137th Street, between Lenox and 7th Avenues from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. We're glad as we transition into our new headquarters. Our 4 Saturdays of Black History Month, we'll be doing those rallies at Mother AME Zion. Stand on historic ground, holy ground, where Frederick Douglass spoke, where Madam C.J. Walker was funeralized, where Sojourner Truth had a Underground Railroad come through. I'm so excited about being there as it prepares us to move on to our new headquarters. Let's go back and stand on the rock that our people stood on for decades. Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. And Tanya Stovall saying, where is the Supreme Court when it comes to some of these executive orders, when it comes to Trump? They could stop him, but yet they say nothing at all. They're truly an embarrassment. You know, one of the things that I'm really grateful to God is we have some very woke, if you want to use that term, alert listeners and participants, because it gives me a lot of encouragement and faith to know that people are not sleeping on this. This is regular, ordinary people saying we are not that stupid. And if we could get more of us to really spread the word of common sense, it is going to be a difference within itself. Forensic account says Jasmine Crockett, after realizing that Pam Bondi wasn't going to answer any questions during today's hearings, wisely spent her time destroying Bondi on her record, a puppet of Donald Trump. Yeah, well, it was clear that Bondi came there to stand up for Trump, to play to Trump, who's watching, and she didn't come there to answer anything, and she didn't. Let's go to Percy Johnson, my main man, the labor lead extraordinaire in Detroit, Michigan. Percy.
Can you hear me okay? Pretty good, Reverend Mal?
I hear you very well.
Okay, good. I got my headset on. I'm sitting down here in this hotel at the Hilton in Washington, D.C. We had, I'm working with 2 unions, the UAW and with SEIU, and the UAW this week had the lobby week.
Oh.
Where we went to the Capitol to lobby with some policies that we want change, and then also before I tell you about the 2 things these unions are doing, on the 28th of August, where is the rally going to be?
We're looking at 2 spots. I'll announce it at the convention. We negotiate with 2 spots. I don't want to tip it off and Trump's people block us. So.
Yeah. Well, I understand all that. The only reason why I keep you so I can plan. We're going to be there wherever it is.
All right.
I got to tell my people.
Just keep it open.
Get a bus. Okay. So look, we were here. Bonnie Sanders actually got two bills that we're pushing, and I'm going to tell the listeners to call your state rep and also get on that. And the one bill that he's pushing that we're supporting is to take the Medicaid for All Act, and that's H.R. 3069 and Senate 1506, and that's the Medicaid for All Act. Look it up and tell your whatever state you live in, get with your state rep to say, if y'all don't help support this, we're not going to support you come November and doing these primaries. And then the other act he got out is the family, the pension for all act, which Senate Bill 2335, and that's going to be a bill that to help support the funding to protect our Social Security and protect our pensions and for our workers, and get out of this 401k and actually we look being up here right now. They showing data of how the corporations are record profiting to where they are making enough money to give workers fair, livable wages and benefits so they can have a pension. There's data and proof out there. These tax breaks that they are giving these corporations is taking them so over the top of their profits to where there's funding definitely there for workers to get what they deserve for where they should be able to. The conversation was we should be working to live, not living to work.
Right. Right.
And then so with my SEIU group, we've been sitting back past when I was with them last week. So we're sitting down at the table now where we can reach out to the 32,000 home care workers in our state to where we can have a conversation in a minute where we reaching these home care workers to stimulate them the importance of why they need to be involved with this 2026 election, making sure, number one, they're able to negotiate for a contract this year, but that funding comes from the health budget. So we're encouraging them to, this is why you got to get civically involved, and you got to start asking these elected officials to, if you're going to have the kind of health plan that you're getting, do people that's listening, check out the health plan that your elected officials are getting. Check out the pension plan that your elected officials are getting. How dare them take the funding from the system to get paid like they getting paid, and they don't want to, in return, bring that kind of opportunity for the people that they represent for the work that they're doing.
And they get it covered even when there's government shutdown. They're not shut down.
That's right, Reverend Mal. So come on, people. Pay it. Look, keep your eye on the prize, Reverend Mal. So Reverend Mal, I'm one man. I'm not in this for the shine. I'm in it for the grind.
Wow.
And I'm in it to grind, to get these people out here, to encourage and get out here, y'all. And let's turn this thing around. Do you realize that all this stuff we talking about Trump is doing, Congress has the power to stop that. And we are seeing evidently, biggest day, that the majority Republican control in Congress, the House and the Senate, they are giving him a pass. They are not doing their job, and it's time that we do what Trump tried to do to everybody, is fire them. We got to fire them and put the people in office that's going to take care of the community and bring resources that we are putting in the system. It's our money. Every time we spend $1, that money goes into the system. So when you don't participate civilly, you letting somebody else decide where that money is going to go. Shame on you for not making sure that you're getting a return in the money you putting in the system, and you talking about you don't want to be involved, and you're going to let somebody start putting that money in places that's going to harm you while they rack up and make money and destroy your family and your community.
Right. No doubt about it.
Well, look, I'm gonna go. Look,
all right, yeah,
keep
on lobbying, but no, I love it. You know, I always love to hear your voice.
Let me tell you this. Look here, man. I'm gonna miss the convention because I'm celebrating the 50-year anniversary April 3rd. You know, so I got to take my wife somewhere.
I understand that.
Yeah,
all right.
For April 5th. But man, if I'd have known what I know now, I'd have got married in another month, man.
God bless you. Thank you. Never. All
Have
right.
a good one.
All right. Thank you. And I'm reading from our message board, Rev 11216. I grew up in the Bronx, never afraid and will fight when necessary. I'm sick and tired of cowards who run off with their mouths, who talk loud and do nada. I love it. Thank you for that, Rev. And I think that I'm with you with that. People just talking and there's no backup. They don't come out to support nothing. They're not at a rally. They're not at a meeting. They're not doing nothing. They just selling wolf tickets, which is why Trump and them don't take them seriously. Let's take a break. More of you on the phones, 1-877-532-5797. Shopton, keeping it real. Be right back.
This is the first Thanksgiving I'm here in New York. Over 20 years. I'm just glad to be here with Rev today and to hand out the food. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
It's Erica Ford, the Peace Doctor in the building. Here at the National Action Network, it's about thanks. It's about giving. It's about gratitude. It's about love. I feel it is important for you to understand that there's work out here to be done, but it starts with gratitude, it starts with giving, it starts with peace, it starts with love. Let's go.
Before we feed our family, we got to make sure that we feed the community. That's right. That's what it's all about. We got to come with sharp phones. You come and you make sure you show up, serve the community. That's what it's all about.
I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. Just wait. I believe that.
Good morning, everybody. I hope the coffee has kicked in by now. I want to start by thanking your leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton, and everyone at the National Action Network for 35 years of standing up for civil rights and opportunity for everyone.
And I couldn't be more grateful for the way that you have blessed the lives of so many, including mine.
As we look today on King Day, let us not forget that we had to struggle to even have this day. They did not wake up one morning and say, let's give a federal holiday to Martin Luther King. People petitioned, people marched. Let us remember now as we bring our children and grandchildren up the Potomac, that they can see the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial, and one memorial that never served as president, but changed this country more than any other American, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
This was an amazing MLK breakfast.
It is truly an honor, and more importantly, this is an important day for us.
I feel incredibly lucky and honored to be in this room on this day, celebrating Dr. King's legacy of civil rights, especially in the moment that we're facing on a national level. It feels like warmth and home being in this room.
So I'm encouraged by today. I'm encouraged that we're getting out, we're protesting, but more needs to be done. We need to lean in.
And let's keep fighting because the job is not done here. And I just feel so honored to get this award. It's not about getting an award, it's about doing the work. And let's keep up with the work.
One, two, three, I got the feeling. Hey, baby, baby, I got the feeling. How I got that feeling, yeah. Hey, got that feeling, y'all. Come on. Feeling, baby. Oh, I got the feeling, y'all. Can you put your hands together? I got the feeling. Oh, won't you say, baby, baby, I got that. Thank you so much. My name is True Osborne. Humbled and honored.
Some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there and act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to take nights in jails and licks upside the head or shut out of boardrooms like Byron so you could walk down red carpets and act like you got there by yourself. So I received this award with a special, special place in my heart and on my shelf because I'm getting it from a freedom fighter who never forgot where he came from and how he got there. Yes, we've come a long way. We've had now a black president and now a black vice president. But we still can get shot down and have to march to get a case in court. We still can get shut out of boardrooms. We're still doubly unemployed in a good economy. So we're going to have to keep marching. And I thank not only my family, a mother that raised me by herself, but I thank that lady at the end of the march that knows she won't be on TV that night and knows her name will never be in the paper, but she believed in me enough to get at the end of the line and make me look good. Because Dr. King used to say, if you call a march and no one shows up, you just going for a walk. And I want to thank those that marched with me. 32 years ago, here in Los Angeles, we marched. And then many years later, with George Floyd and others, we're still marching. And I'm going to keep marching. I'm going to keep agitating. And I'm going to keep going. Until we don't have to do it anymore. Eddie, known you a long time. Mariah, Chris, and your kids. And I promise you this, the only thing that I really live for is I get up with this dream that every bigot, every racist, everyone in this country that hates will say, damn, he's up again. Do you know what time it is? It's Al Sharpton time. It's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. You need to keep it real with Reverend Al Sharpton right here on Uber TV. Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Let's go back to the phone. Attorney Jennifer Jones Austin is. You know, every day, Monday through Friday, I do 3 hours a day on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. I do 1 hour on Sunday mornings with Sunday Morning with Reverend Al Sharpton. And I'm live on radio and TV with the Saturday Action Rally. 7 days a week, I talk to our people, hear from them, the call-in. I'm sick and tired of people talking for people that they don't talk to. So go on www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Listen to my show, call in, express your opinion. You don't have to agree with me. But let's start talking to each other rather than about each other and lecturing at each other. Let's keep it real with Sharpton.
Happy 20th anniversary to Reverend Al Sharpton on 20 years of Keeping It Real. 2 decades of truth-telling, fearless advocacy, and keeping the people informed and empowered. Thank you for always speaking power to justice and standing firm for what's right. Here's to 20 years of impact and many more to come.
King, Dr. Richardson, most of all, let me thank Reverend Al Sharpton. Yeah! for bringing us all here together today in the Urban Action Network. I am proud to be a candidate for the presidency of the United States of America. But I am mindful that I wouldn't be here if it had not been for Reverend Al Sharpton running for president, and Carol Moseley Brown running for president, and Jesse Jackson running for president, and Shirley Chisholm running for president. They paved the way, and I stand on their shoulders.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your
I'm your host, the Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. And you can also go on the message board at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. And I'm going back to the phones. I really want y'all to line up some callers on what's going on. I really am baffled, I'll use that word, of how we are amidst the greatest attempt to reverse everything gained for blacks, women, and others. And we are sitting around philosophizing and daydreaming while they are absolutely taking us backwards. For you to see a woman sit up in front of a congressional committee, I want y'all to hear me now, a white female, and refuse to apologize to other white females, not blacks now. It's not racism. She has no empathy to say to them, I'm sorry for what happened to you and that we got to do better. Then you are in a space now where these people, as my mother used to say, have no good in them. I ain't talking about she didn't apologize to Trayvon's mother or George Floyd's family. These are white women that were raped as adolescents, standing there in the hearing. And they said to her, will you apologize to them? And she acted like nothing was said. She went right into her attacks on them. So if we are at that stage in American history, if you don't get up off your behind now, and I don't get up off mine and stay up, we deserve whatever we get. They're doing this to their own people. I mean, it's unbelievable. When I saw the Congresswoman say, will you apologize? First she said, would y'all stand up to victims? They stood up. That were there. These are not obviously all the victims. So I said, well, she got some slick way of saying, I'm sorry for what happened to you, but we didn't do it, or we didn't intend to do it, or to process this, or people's right. Something. She didn't even attempt to apologize to him. So what does that say to us? Brenda Foster says on our message board, hello from Detroit. I've been watching the hearings. The Democrats are letting Americans know exactly what is happening in the White House while some have no insurance, etc. Be blessed. Yeah, I think that's right. I think that is right. This is an atrocity. Let's go to Miss Jones in Philadelphia, WURD, Word. Miss Jones.
Thank you so much, Rev, for taking my call. and you and your family are always in my prayers. I know you're running out of time and callers are on the line, but I wholeheartedly agree with what you just said. Because as a woman, I am really disappointed that she was unable to not represent the twice impeached, 4 times indicted, convicted felon. You know, it's just real, and that's why she didn't respond. And that was a way that she could have responded without, seemingly taking sides and still, respectfully. In other words, there's just so much going on. But you have the best callers. You really, really do. I am really trying to. I tried to get in yesterday for Tuesday Tell It All. And there are a lot of topics that are going on in my head right now, but I'm going to stick with this one as to the immigration and the mistreatment of our immigrants here with all of these detention centers and, the beatings and knocking out their windows. These are credible people who have always added to our economy. And let's not forget, like you said, sometimes we have to go back and remind us how we got here because of lack of votes, although I still strongly believe that the election was won by the Democrats and Harris because we saw how she was working hard, working the phones, doing this. We did not see the twice impeached guy out there, fighting for votes. As a matter of fact, he said if they don't win, they had a ram in the bush, something to that effect. And we really need to go back when there was a bipartisan immigration reform. And the convicted felon convinced the Republicans as to not to vote for it. So we didn't have to get here, but this is what they had in mind. And to make a long story short, I did not listen to a lot of the hearing because I don't like when grown people disrespect grown people or even children, and how disrespectful she was. I said, this is what the Democrats are dealing with.
Right.
We have to support them because they're not dealing with the normal Republicans, and we must call the White House. I've called a couple of times, talked to a live operator. They only say you have a brief moment, but this lady was able to allow me to speak my concerns about what I saw as to Bundy. But most importantly, the Democrats had to pump the gas, but they still were respectful. If we cannot respect, we don't have to like the person that we're working with, but if we cannot respect other lawmakers and not go to name calling and all that nonsense, we've lost our way as a country. And we all need to get on the phone, do something, like you said, get off our behinds, because this is no time for anyone to take a back seat. So I leave you with this number, 202-456 1111, and do whatever and do other things to make sure that we fight for what others have fought for, and they're trying to take everything away. If these last things that are happening here in America have not moved us into movement, we must examine our own head, because these people are not playing. They're mean. I've never seen such disrespect of older people. You would think she was talking to a teenager, that you don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
It is disgraceful. I thank you, Rev. God bless you. You're always in my prayers, and I know we will win because as the dad Bundy said at the end, if you didn't understand what he was singing about, love wins over hate to something that degree. So we must continue to be respectful. You don't have to like us, but let's respect one another. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your call. Let's go to Miss Jones in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We just went to Miss Jones.
Yeah, that was Miss Jones.
Yeah, let me go. Let's do break. Let's go to break, and I'll come back with the rest on the phone and the message board. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. Shopton, keeping it real. Be right back. Hi, this is Reverend Al Shopton for the month of February, Black History Month. The Saturday Action Rally will be at Mother AME Zion Church, 137th Street, between Lenox and 7th Avenues from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. We're glad as we transition into our new headquarters, our 4 Saturdays of Black History Month, we'll be doing those rallies at Mother AME Zion. Stand on historic ground, holy ground, where Frederick Douglass spoke, where Madam C.J. Walker was funeralized, where Sojourner Truth had a Underground Railroad come through. I'm so excited about being there as it prepares us to move on to our new headquarters. Let's go back and stand on the rock that our people stood on for decades. As we look today on King Day, let us not forget that we had to struggle to even have this day. They did not wake up one morning and say, let's give a federal holiday to Martin Luther King. People petitioned, people marched. Mrs. Coretta Scott King, who never has gotten the credit she deserves in being the force behind this movement. Congressman John Conyers, Stevie Wonder, and others. And Ronald Reagan, who had called Martin Luther King a communist, ended up being the president that had to sign the bill for Martin Luther King's federal holiday. The reason why we know struggle works is this holiday is a result of struggle, signed by a president that never thought it would be. Let us remember now, as we bring our children and grandchildren up to Potomac, that they can see the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial, and one memorial that never served as president, but changed this country more than any other American, Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. But we gather this morning because everything Dr. King stood for is at risk. As we speak, we're waiting to see what the Supreme Court will do with Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, one of the major achievements of the King movement. As we speak this morning, this sitting president has declared war on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is the core of the Civil Rights Act of '64. We are under attack, and we should not be taking this as a day off. This is a day on to fight to keep what was maintained. To see, I remember 6 years ago, Martin III and I were in Minneapolis leading the marches around George Floyd. I did the eulogy at his funeral. 6 years later, we see a white female, unarmed, killed in Minneapolis. We see people being racially profiled. We see that there are those that would want this to be the last federal holiday named after King. Don't you be deceived. This sitting president and his cohorts would want to end Martin Luther King Day. But just like we will not let them end this day, we will not let them end voting rights and Civil Rights Act and DEI. It's not enough to remember and honor the dreamer and let them kill the dream. And that's why National Action Network has every year started in Washington, D.C. with this breakfast, and then we go to New York with our public policy forum. And every year we try to set an agenda and go into April. We always have our national convention in April which is the month Dr. King was killed, to say that they killed the dreamer, not the dream, and those of us that come out of that movement is going to continue to fight. This April will be our National Action Network is 35 years old in this April at our convention. One of the things, though, we've been most proud of is to try to keep the assignment that we were given. As I said, Mrs. Coretta Scott King never got the credit she was due. She's the matriarch of this movement. You must know that Dr. King was in Boston, had graduated Morehouse College, 19 years old. Went to Boston University, an Ivy League school at a time many blacks couldn't get in them. Met a young lady who was in conservatory, was going to be an opera singer from Marion, Alabama, Coretta Scott King. They decided to go back south. A lot of blacks that went north and had their upper movement never wanted to go back south. But for whatever reason, Dr. King wanted to go back south, and Mrs. King stood right with him and went to Alabama and ran into history. It is always those that accept the calling that change history, and we should never forget the sacrifice made of Dr. Martin and Mrs. Coretta Scott King, because they did not have to go and lead a boycott. They were Boston University Conservatory graduates. They chose to fight. And when it fell their lot, they kept fighting. And even after Dr. King was assassinated, she kept the movement going. Martin III bonded me and his mother, and she used to reprimand me. Al, you got to be careful with your language. Al, I know you up north, but do this, that, and other. She got on me about being not only in the tradition in your actions, because we always was there, but even in your rhetoric. And it was because of that that it meant so much. For the last 30 years, Martin and I have walked step by step together because we had that bond, and I felt that Mrs. King gave us that. Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. And we're back, 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, and twitter.com, The Rev Al. I love on our message board at nationalactionnetwork.net. You can go to live stream and hit the message board. Joanne Kemp is saying on the message board, I love this. Complaining about Bad Bunny singing in Spanish. Anyone remember James Brown singing with Pavarotti? I enjoyed that. You just wiped the floor with me, Joanne, because one of my favorite videos is James Brown and Pavarotti. When he called, told me he was going over there and do a show of Pavarotti, I said, you going to do what? I just couldn't believe it. And when I saw the tape of him singing one line of It's a Man's World, then Pavarotti singing it in his language, and then James Brown going back and James Brown going forth, and brought his band with him that mixed with Pavarotti's orchestra. That's a epic time. People don't know, and as someone that grew up like one of James Brown's surrogate sons, it was an epic moment plus for me. A lot of us have no appreciation of how global we are. James Brown started in the sticks of South Carolina. And he would always tell me the story when I talk about, my father left when I was 10 and all. He said, Reverend, don't feel sorry for yourself, lift yourself up. He says, I was born in the woods of South Carolina, and my mother left when I was 3. My mother kept being subjected to my father's domestic abuse. So she got tired of getting beat. She left. He said, I never met my mother till I was in my 20s starting at the Apollo Theater. My father kept me out there in the woods as long as he could. And when I was 7, he walked me to Augusta, 7 miles. We took this long walk to Augusta, and he gave me to my aunt because he was going into service. And he went into service, and my aunt raised me, and my aunt ran a house of ill repute. The soldiers would come to my aunt's house to pay for ladies of leisure, we'll put it that way. That's how I grew up. And I went from there to being the star I become. So I don't hear what you can't be. And he would not let me feel sorry for myself. And to see him standing up there, and I went with him to London to Hammersmith Odeon when he played there, to see them, the toast of Europe and all these places in Africa, it gave me a sense of what you can do, whatever you were born to do, if you just get up and do it. Because whatever sad story you got, there's somebody got a sadder story than you, and that went on anyhow. I almost felt bad with telling him my story about Daddy leaving, because I did have a nice house and all that till Daddy left and we was in the project. He didn't even have that. So rather than swapping our bad stories, let's talk about the fact that we still here and what we can do and what we could be. Message board, Evangelist Ramsey again. Hey, Reverend Sharpton, you good still? I'm good still. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing. I like that. I like that. It's my evangelist, activist extraordinary. I read her reminding us about the march tomorrow, the pickets tomorrow in front of 11th Avenue. Y'all took down, I was getting ready to read. Yeah, shine thy light. Shine that light, said J.B. Hitman of music. He definitely was that. And Rodney Jones, the mayor, saying the NFL has been playing regular season games in several countries for years, and I didn't hear this selective outrage then. Very good point. Very good point. Let me say again, I've been working hard because I know that a lot going, as they say, hit the fan this weekend between funding the ICE and the Department of Homeland Security dealing with whether it's going to be another temporary government shutdown and dealing with the issues around. Don Lemon has a court hearing, so make sure you watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. On MS Now. I'm sorry, I keep going back to the old title. I'll get there. 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MS Now. And you in the New York and vicinity, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally. For the month of February, we're at the Mother AME Zion Church, historic church. Frederick Douglass spoke there. Paul Robeson was a member there. Madam C.J. Walker was funeralized there. They have a little museum in the fellowship hall downstairs. We're there in the sanctuary, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at that location Saturday morning. You that are not in the New York area, you can watch it live on Impact Television, on NationalActionNetwork.net, YouTube/NAN. Now, our offices are still functioning. We're functioning out of the Harlem Commonwealth Building on 125th Street. You can call in and operate in and do your, if you have emergencies, issues, whatever, just as you did in the old House of Justice. So we open 7 days a week, like always, in National Action Network. Let me also say the National Action Network Convention is shaping up quickly. Make sure you sign up now. I just got word that we are now up to 4,000 have already pre-signed. 4,000. And the hotel is selling out. So make sure you sign up. The sessions are free. All you have to do is go to 1-877-626-4651, 1-877-626-4651, or visit www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, and pre-register. Say I'm going to be there one day, I'm going to be 2 days, I'm going to be all 4 days, whatever it is. I have a very significant historian called me that has written many books, a historian, white, award-winning historian that wants to come to the convention. I mean, it's a place to be. I ask people, what are you doing April 8th to the 11th more important than seeing and hearing the people that help run this country, and then being in the workshops to figure out what we need to do? You got something more important to do? Then be here. Because a lot of people have rallies, and the senators, the governors, none of them there. We have all of them there, and then we also have our sessions where people say, we need to do this, we need to do that, and we do it. We've been in front of Bill Ackman's house, office rather, on 11th Avenue every Thursday for over 100 Thursdays, keeping the pressure on. We had the big march on Wall Street last August 28th. Thousands hit the street. We ain't just talking. And in between that, with them closing DEI, we made Pepsi keep it open and others. We went to the table and registered the voters and got a huge turnout places that if a little more had come, Kamala Harris would have been the president. So we did and continue to do our part. You need to join in and be a part of it. And you may have ideas we have not come up with. The only way we will come up with them is if you join and be a part of it. Very few groups, very few national organizations meet on a weekly basis. You ain't got to worry about what happened to them. Every Saturday, I'm there in Harlem. At now, Mother Amy Zion was at the other location, getting ready to open up our permanent location in about 3 to 4 weeks. Every week, I'm right there. Every day, National Action Network's open. Now we're on 125th at Harlem Commonwealth. And we open in L.A., and we open in Atlanta, and we open in Miami, and we open in Washington, D.C., and Detroit, the regional offices. So I'm not just talking about this. I'm not just sitting home, laying up in the bed, eating chocolate chip cookies, tweeting something. We on Twitter and we on in person. That's why people can tell you, people that's critical of me, well, I don't know where Sharpton is. I'm the only one you can't say you know where. I'm on radio every day. Everybody know where I am. Ain't nobody looking for me. I'm on radio every day, TV 3-4 times a week. Anybody tell you, he just come through, we don't know where he is lying. Anybody know how to reach me. I'm on 3 hours a day, Monday to Friday, broadcast the rally for 2 hours on Saturday, and do the FMs on Sunday morning for an hour. I'm the only one, works 7 days a week and work out every morning. And I'm older than most of y'all. And y'all laying up in the bed belching with an idea and no action. So spare me. Tell somebody else. It's serious time. These people are trying to take everything we gained. Everything. Where all the people talking about we fired up ain't going to take no more? Well, you taking plenty now? Where are the people that was yelling, we ain't going back? Where they pushing you back now? So let's get serious, because these people are serious. If they could sit up in the face on national television of white women violated while they was children and not apologize, what do you think they think about your children? I mean, that's a step beyond even I thought. I thought they'd do some, fake and weave apart. Act like the victims weren't even there. These are their people, done by their people. But that's why, as somebody, a caller said earlier today, that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but wickedness in high places. These people wicked. How you do that to children and let the people walk because they got money? That's wicked. They're sick. And we got to be on the other side of that because it can't last. Nothing that contrary to right can last. It cannot last because the order of the universe is set up against stuff like that. All right, I done talked us out of time. I can't go back to the phones. You have to call in tomorrow, but I had to get that off my chest and into your head. Let me thank all of you that called in, and listened in and couldn't get through but hung in there anyhow. You that messaged on the message board, we appreciate you taking the time to type in your message. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. I'll talk to you tomorrow.